Ready. Hello, welcome everyone. I hope we're all good. Very little activity in chat. Anticipating the start of the stream. Nobody calling that we're a few minutes late. I guess that's to be expected though, because over this last weekend and the one before, there haven't been that many streams really, have there? We've been missing quite a few of them. As I've been struggling to keep up with everything else that we're in the middle of doing. But yeah, so hi guys, I hope you're all doing good. Let me lift my chair up just a little bit here so I'm more in line with the mic. Yeah, I hope everybody's had a nice hot summery day, as I have. Got some cool plans. So as you'll all remember from the last stream I did, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Then we did the Guild Wars 1 stream and that was fine, but I'm still not sure what I really want to do, so I had to sit down and think about an hour before starting here. And I've decided to go back to the Path of Fire playthrough. Mostly because the balance patch has made it really fun to play Warrior. So I kind of just want to play a lot of Warrior in the game at the moment. So I figure, hey, what's a good excuse to play Warrior? Well, we were in the middle of the POF stuff. The other thing is that... And specifically, I mean PvE Warrior. The other thing is, it struck me now, the LP has slowed down. Instead of like one a day, we're at a rate of maybe one every other day at the moment, which is kind of a weird way of saying, unless I can pick it back up, it might take longer to get to Path of... Well, it's definitely going to take longer to get to Path of Fire than I had initially anticipated. The LP was really hard to produce this past week, though. Like, just because of the videos themselves and what I wanted to do with them and the amount of moving pieces that there were in them and how long they were and stuff. I'm kind of on autopilot now, though, for a long time. The next several videos are really easy to make and really easy to produce. Even the next dungeon is extremely easy to complete under the rule set and everything that I figured out. So I'm kind of an easy mode for the LP, but the truth is it might be a while before we get to PF, and I still need like those refreshers and recaps on POF. So yeah, I figure let's keep going with the story playthrough. That means we're gonna have to dig up that old die competition winner and equip the dies and stuff properly, and we'll figure that out. So hopefully that will be fun and fine and easy to sort out. And so yeah, I will kick it to a stream intro. I'll probably advertise this one and actually get people aware that I stream again, because it's been a while. But I thought we'd do a little bit of preamble here. So number one, this is my PvP Reaper that I've been playing EU on, and I've been doing okay. I've been in Plat 3 a lot of the season now. Sometimes I drop, but usually I'm alright. A lot of people don't know how to fight Reaper. I've actually got a cool game of the day coming up on this later. But what I've been doing between queues, just a awesome little tip for those very few of you who have got here to this stream early, is I've been on the Sandswept Isles. So I queue from Sandswept Isles, not from Heart of the Mists. And for that reason, I bumped... This is just a random character on my account, really. But I bumped it to level 80, and I've fully geared it out. Now, the reason I've done that is so I can farm on this map while PvP queuing. And he's wearing some of the gear that I want the warrior to have, so we're going to swap some of the gear in a second. But, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite builds in the game right now. And it's kind of the PvE-adjusted version of the Reaper that you see me playing in PvP. So I kind of want to show it off. It's kind of similar to a Boots Bad build where he went a bit insane with something a while ago. But essentially, this is just about one of the sturdiest goddamn things you can play. And it's really meaty, heavy damage at the same time. So the 3 lines, I'll give you a demonstration, but the 3 lines are Spite, Blood, and Reaper. Again, just like you see that I've been running in PvP. But the cool thing about running it here in open world is because of Ghost Pepper Poppers. Which means that you have a 40% chance as you're striking things, okay, to gain might during the day. At night, it's only chill, so it's shit at night, basically. You do get benefits from hitting chilled people, obviously, because you're a Reaper. But it's much worse at night. And guess what? Well, as we start the stream here, it's night, sod's law. So it's not going to be a perfect demonstration. But, yeah, it's the Chili Popper synergy with Blighter's Boon. So Blighter's Boon, this is what I call the Lucky Reaper. Blighter's Boon is gain life force whenever you apply a boon to yourself. And if you're in Reaper's Shroud, whenever you apply a boon to yourself, gain health instead. So Necro is defined by, like, attrition, I would say. It's also defined by having very low boon access. There's not much boon spam in the game, really, on a Necro, which is where this build's really interesting, because this is the most boon spammy you can get a Reaper. And the more you kill, so Reaper is always heavily advantaged when it's outnumbered. The more you kill, the quicker you kill, the more boons you get, the more life force you get, the more health you get. So basically, the more outnumbered you become, the sturdier and more dominant you become. And it's excellent for the Sandswept Isles, because so here we've just got a single mob we're fighting. I need to turn my thing down, hold on. I have to turn my speakers down. Don't want that to be too loud. So it's excellent for the Sandswept Isles because every single creature you kill here gives you this Karmic Retribution, which is worth 200 karma. Everything you kill. So no matter what you do, if you wade into large groups of enemies and you smack them all down, you can reap incredible amounts of karma rewards. So I've kind of been this is all between queues, right? But I've kind of been inspired to get all of the minis. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean legitimately all of the minis and all of the gem store ones and all of the, you know, just absurdly overpriced Path of Fire ones. We could do a stream on that as well, by the way. I don't mean that. What I mean is all of the minis that are like in-game earnable, which would be a lot of Living World Season 3, Season 4, and Path of Fire rewards, where you have to spend 100,000 karma every single time to get one of these minis. 100k karma, that's a lot of karma, guys. A hell of a lot of karma. Why were they invulnerable? That's annoying. That's a ton of karma. But you can farm it so fast here. It's kind of nuts. Like, you can get a stack of karmic... All you have to do is kill 250 creatures, and you've got a stack of karmic retribution. There you can see I've got 41. If I consume this at 41, I just got 8,000 karma, guys. If you get a stack of this stuff, and you pop it, it's like 50k karma just straight away in your pocket. And you only need... So basically, you get 2 stacks, and then you've got another mini. And then 2 stacks, and then you've got another mini. Like, the karma is just that mental. And it's kind of the perfect thing to do while just sort of waiting around. I mean, it's absurd, and in truth, it's terrible for the game, and I loathe ArenaNet for, like, doing this. I think it's really, really, really silly. But, yeah, it allows players like me to basically bypass karma as a mechanic. I mean, not really, because I am now fighting a ton on the most recently added map, given the illusion of population, all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, it's just basically what I've been doing between queues. And so what I needed was a perfect build that could wade into heaps of enemies and never struggle. So you might not be very impressed by the damage output of this build right now, but I don't want you to look at the damage output of this build. It's obviously quick enough to score significant kills. I want you to always look at my life force and my health. That's what you should be looking at, because that's really the strength of this build. So I'm at 100% life force right now, yeah, and 100% health. So, I mean, we're not even getting hit. I need to find, like, a group of enemies. There's an area I like to go. We'll see in a second. So here, there's a huge group, right? We're just spamming blinds on them. We're blowing them up. They've done basically no damage to us. And if you look at my boons, I'm on 25 might constantly and all kinds of other boons rolling around on me. So the reason I call this the lucky Necro is because this guy's not even fighting us. Come on, bro. What are you doing? I'll show you. He's really tanky, by the way. He's really, really tanky. The reason I call this the lucky Necro is on the gear, I'm running Sigils of Luck. So when we kill someone, we got a 75% chance to gain a boon. I don't care what the boon is. I don't care if they give... Alacrity is not on the loot table for this, but, you know, all the other boons are. They never put Alacrity. They forgot. It was so obvious they were going to forget somewhere to put Alacrity, right? But it doesn't matter. Just one boon equals the life force generation. That's all that matters. All the health. That's all that matters. So it's running as much boon spam as possible, possibly to its detriment. So we're running luck sigils, strength sigils, so a 60% chance whenever I hit to get more might. So I actually, if might didn't stack to 25, this build would probably be rolling around on 50 to 60 might at all times. Seriously. It has that much might it throws out. And you might say, well, that's ridiculous, WP. You don't need that much. But every single stack of might still gives me value because it lets me tank more stuff. yeah, through Blighter's Boon. So yeah, that's the get. And the other one, funnily enough, and this isn't necessarily good, but I've got 2 altruism runes. So whenever I cast my heal, I get 3 stacks of might. And my heal is quite aggressive too. The heal gives me protection, so that's actually 4 boons, 4 procs of Blighter's Boon from a single Well of Blood. Okay, that's from 2 altruism, and then the other runes are durability runes. So this is a 25% chance when they hit me that I give myself protection, regeneration, and resistance. So my runes alone give me 6 boons, which I think is the maximum amount of boon spam you can get from runes, and only from runes. So I get 6 boons. I get boons. So basically, you're just spamming boons out all over the place constantly. And the more outnumbered you are, the better, essentially. It's also a build that I really enjoy just because, as you can see on my skill bar, I'm playing a Char because I like the fashion wars on this character, frankly. That's literally all it is. I like the fashion wars. There's nothing deeper there. However, I realized that the one boon that this doesn't consistently get, it gets it in sigils of luck, but that's not consistent or reliable. The one boon that it doesn't really get very consistently is Fury. So I'm actually running Battle Roar. Battle Roar is legitimately a great utility skill to be running on this build, because Battle Roar is another 3 procs of Blighter's Boon for tons of light force, but also it's Fury on there, and that increases your crit chance, which a lot of Reapers are like, oh, you get such high crit chances as a Reaper anyway, because you can run Decimate defenses, and you can run Soul Reaping and get your 50% while in Shroud. But I'm not really resorting to using those. I am using Decimated defenses right now here. So when I've got the Fury and I'm proccing this, I'm at 100% crit chance, right? But, you know, this loosens you up. It's just a cool trait. It's just a cool skill, and any excuse to actually be able to use a racial ability, I will take with open arms, because, well, you guys get the picture. There's a particularly fun build against Awaken too, because the other thing it does is not only it spams boons on itself, but just like all other Reaper builds, well, the PvP variant that I'm running, it's extremely boon rip heavy. So Awaken do actually boon themselves. They're some of the only enemies in Guild Wars 2 that really boon themselves. And I'm playing something that destroys the boons that they put on themselves extremely quickly. I could swap this well out. But yeah, every well pulses protection. So there's boons on everything you're looking at, basically. The only thing I could do that was a little bit more boon heavy is turn the Warhorn off and put a focus on, because the focus bounces regeneration. So it will hit you and give you regen, then it will hit the enemy, then it will come back to you and give you regen again. So it can give you like another few packets. But like, so here you see I'm a little bit low. When I go into Shrouds, my health instantly maxes out again. And the reason that it instantly maxes out again is because I'm taking Awaken the Pain. So most people, when they look at Awaken the Pain, they only care about it because they're PvE people that care about DPS and golems and stuff. And they're taking it for the first part, which is the might gives us more power and less condition damage. So we're more flat damage oriented than damage over time oriented. Which isn't necessarily even that good here. I mean, it is good, but I mean, we do a lot of aggressive condis too through corruption. In PvP, that's the case. Anyway, I'm running this in PvP, basically. I'm running Awaken the Pain in PvP. But when you enter Shroud, you gain 5 might. So you enter Shroud, gain 5 might, which procs 5 times of Blighter's Boon, which means every time I go into Shrouds, it's like a heal. And then obviously we start getting all the other boons from the strikes and things. So yeah, it's just a really fun build that's extremely sturdy. Probably the sturdiest thing I've ever played in PvE, sorry. With damage output to match. I mean, no, there are sturdier things I've played, but they don't do damage, right? They're like, it's like pulling teeth trying to kill anything with them. So yeah, it's not really anything special. It hovers around what Boots was playing around with when he was going hard for Blighter's Boon synergy. It's basically just getting max value out of Blighter's Boon, and it's really fun for this map because, again, when you get these big groups, here's the other thing, right? The blood magic trait is wells, right? So it means that wells siphon health. And you might think, oh, well, that's okay, but the number's really low on it, right? 265 damage and 217 healing. And you might not think that's that good. But what you have to understand is if you're in AoE scenarios, if you're outnumbered, which is what you want to be so you can get max karma, if you're in those AoE scenarios, you can times those values by 5. You can times the damage by 5. So it's actually now we're looking at over 1,000 damage a second, and that's health as well. That's over 1,000 health a second. Yeah, so the more outnumbered you are, the more it like starts turbocharging the wells too. So yeah, it's just on theme with Reaper. Where I actually like to fight with it, I'll show you, is in the center of the cube at the bottom. Because down here you get lots of dynamic events that just run Awakened. And there's just like hordes of them that you can hide in. And you can just grind out so much karma so quickly. And pretty comfortably too. And you know, this isn't like completely in a vacuum. I've actually done this. So this is actually, some players already been here, I think, maybe. But like these guys can actually be really tricky. I've been here on Warrior, I've been here on Rev, I've been here on basically anything I've PvP'd recently on. And yeah, they can score quick spiky kills, but they can't like, do you see how much life force we lost there? They can't really easily deal with these kinds of mobs with the officers and shit. While Reaper can just get, look, we're at 100% life force, we go straight back in. We just grind shit down, right? And look at my Boon spam here. So this is what you know, I've really been enjoying it. It's not in a vacuum, as I say. We've actually just been fear chained, like hard there. So yeah, anyway, that was just a little anecdote for people right here at the start of the stream before we do the actual Path of Fire thing. So what I'm going to do is pull my trinkets off of this character and put them on my Warrior, because it's the Warrior that I actually want to play on this stream. I'm enjoying Warrior gameplay more than since the balance patch. Oh yeah, Well of Power is a great choice here as well, because it spams Might on you, but it's not needed. You can go the 2 aggressive wells. Oh look, we have a Spud member here. Hello. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm going to kick off the intro now. I'm going to tell people on Twitter that I'm streaming. I'm going to tell people on Discord that I'm streaming. And we will get in on the adventure. I'll see. Look, I never see. Look. This is what I'm talking about. Do you see that big group up there? The Inquest group up there? You can just bounce around. We've got to go do that. And then you get the additional karma owing to the fact you just beat a dynamic event as well at that. Can we even get out of here? Is that possible? No! I really want to... Look how many there are. Hold on. I'm not going to the intro yet. Is it in here? And then around the corner? Oh, you guys can't see. Sorry. Here, look. Yes. Treasure. Treasure. This is like a wet dream for a Guild Wars 2 player. I think we go this way. If they're in the tunnels, that is. There's a guy on a griffin. They're up there now. Also close to this. Obviously, this is a great karma farm. We've talked about that on streams already. Yeah, they are above us. I thought they were above us. Oh, I was onto it, and then I've just gone the wrong way completely here. Damn.
The Awakened have culled our personnel by 34.23%.
Not my problem.
Wow, the Awakened have only killed a third of the Inquest. That's what they just said in the dialogue there. They've only killed a third. Yes, I know you guys are going to want to talk about the LP as well, because it was a very significant episode. As I mentioned, the LP episodes have been quite difficult to make this week. Mostly because of the one that went up last night. If you guys haven't seen it, it's basically like a... I mean, this is very bold of me to say. It's like a mini movie I fucking made with that episode. It's an hour and a half long, and there's like a lot of moving parts in it from like a production standpoint. So, oh my god, are they gone now? What's going on? I really want to get to them. Did we miss it? So yeah, I will talk to you guys about that. There will be spoilers for the LP, and I'll give you some guys behind the scenes as well, because I know a lot of you are going to be fanatically curious about exactly what's going through my mind and a few things to do with that. So yeah. It's because they're patrolling. Hold on now. We can also quite easily kill that golem on this build, but a lot of builds can do that. Here, karma. This obviously wasn't worth it. We could have just stayed killing Inquest the entire time. For the purposes of this. We don't get stunned too much by shocking aura. Not critting very much here. I guess I should make sure I use the Greatsword 3 before going in. Alright, there we go. Event done. Okay, alright, I'll see you guys in a second. Seriously, I won't be very long either, I promise. I'm not going to go make coffee or anything. I'm just going to do this with the gear. This character's not been anywhere, has it? Alright, let's just go up to this bank. See you guys in a second. Don't go anywhere. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm back. Okay. All right. We're all good. So, let's see here. Did I do that right? Yeah, I think I did. Okay. Let's see here. All right. I've barely touched chat, so we'll run through chat a little bit, then we'll go in game, and we will we'll figure some of this other stuff out. So, scrolling all the way up. Oh yeah, we had subs and stuff. So Benji, way back when. Oh, Will Hawkins, it's good to see you. MSC says in his stand it's even crazier. Oh, really? So you can get Karma there as well, can you? Well, I haven't bought the enrichments on that map yet, so yeah. Rav, you subbed today. Thanks very much, man. 19 months and here to stay. I'm glad to see it, dudes. 3 months in a row for Peel Off. It's great to have you back. Colombina for 2 months. MMO Shards, 16. Says hello and asks if there's any expectations for episode 3. I mean, I think my expectations are well sort of trodden ground, and I've gone over 100,000 times. I think most people would be bored to hear again. But I personally like the idea of the Isna Isles. I'll just leave it there. Dead Zeller, you just hit a year, Dead Zeller. Dude, congrats. Hi, Amaj. Oh, that was last week. Okay, so yeah, anyway, thanks, guys. It's good to see you. Benji says, I queued each Living World Season 3 map and got all the minis, but you're behind on Season 4. Yeah, see, I missed all the... Well, not all of them, but I missed the vast majority of Season 3 ones too. So if I go for this, it's going to take a long time. But I don't really have too much else I anticipate spending that Karma on, because, like, when it comes to Legendary Craft, and you might be like, oh, but WP, you need Karma for that. And, well, no, because the game has thrown hundreds of clovers at me and Obsidian Shards. I'm, like, minted for that stuff, so... I don't know where else I'd need to spend Karma, so I figure why not go for the minis, I don't know. Will Hawkins says, will I have a chance to upgrade the Spud Club to 2 Hall? Yes, I will do that now, actually. And I'll tell you why, because I did tell one of the GMs about a month ago that I was going to do it. And because our streams have been so patchy, we just haven't had the chance. So let's do that right now. Let's get out a bit of Frost Frontier. So the reason I'm in bits of Frost Frontier is because I really don't like the trinkets my warrior's currently wearing, because of all the auras and stuff. For a proper playthrough, so I came here just to see whether I had enough to buy with berries, but I don't. It's amazing though, look how many players hang around this vendor. This must be one of the most used vendors in the game. It's so, like, crazy how much a single one of the Living World releases can offset and skew and undermine all ascended progression in the game. It's mental. Even to this point that 1 year after it came out, really, just over a year, it's still like this. It's kind of crazy. Right, yes, so the Spud 2 Hall, let's do that. As I continue to read people's messages. Go into the guild hall now. Hey WP, a few days ago, I came across a website that claimed Guild Wars 2 had 3 million players. Do you think that estimate has any merit? Comments like that are really silly because it's like, what constitutes a player? Someone who bought the box, someone who currently has it installed, someone who at any point has had it installed, someone who's hit level 2 before quitting, someone who's hit level 80 before quitting, someone who's been online in the last 6 months. I'm guessing that there's no standards, like, understanding for that. And there may be internally within the industry, there may be, but as far as games journalism is concerned, I doubt it. All right, let's just buy these. So a guild weaponsmith, add a weaponsmith to market. That's going to cost us Orichalcum, Ancient Wood, Milling Stones, and Celestial Orichalcum Imbued Inscriptions. Oh my god, that cost 3,000 Ethereum, did it? Oh, what are we missing for from this, though? Magic Find. It looks like we should have everything, don't we? Why can we not buy this upgrade? I see everything ready. You guys in Spud 2 are doing amazing, by the way, here. This is NA hype here, now. We could genuinely call it this. This is NA hype. So yeah, good job, guys. I'll go look at some of the other ones. So yeah, I don't know. 3 million though. You know, it's really funny. I did very recently get my hands on, because I'm a nutter. Because I'm a nutter. Sorry, I just walked away from the PC to grab something. I did get an edition, a boxed edition of Guild Wars 1, that I never had before. And it's interesting. So this is from around 2008 or something. Where is it? it had on it as an advertisement something like, yeah. It says, it's got like, you know, like the Nintendo seal of approval. You know how, like, all kinds of different game boxes, they'll like, mimic that. They'll, like, put a stamp or whatever on the box to make it look like it's got some authority or whatever, you know. We're just trying to tap into that. So, on this Eye of the North thing, it says, on, like, a sealed stamp on it, on the texture of the paper, it says, join millions of players worldwide, ! Campaign 1, Campaign 2. Oh, no, just Campaign 1. So... join millions of players worldwide. That's what they were happy to say about GW1. I'm sure numbers have released and how they've been scored in those ways. Guild Wars 2, as it stands right now, definitely, long story short, Guild Wars 2, as it stands right now, this is the answer you actually want to hear, doesn't have 3 million players. There's no way 3 million people are regularly logging on. There's no way. I'm sorry, but that's just not true. Even when a big patch comes out, they're not getting 3 million people come in. And you shouldn't hear me say that. There's going to be a lot of, like, casual people and, like, people who don't really understand games very well who listen to that and think, oh, what? So the game's dead? No, don't be, like, the game can be thriving and very much alive with the tiny fraction of 3 million. I don't know what out there is retaining and collecting 3 million. I doubt WoW even is right now, right? Like, it depends on your metrics of what you consider someone to be playing the game, right? But, yeah, I'm interested in that article. But there's no way that there's... Let's see this here. 3 million potential people out there. So, we're still missing PvP reward potions. We're still missing PvP reward potions. We finished that. Oh, no, we can get this one. Brawling obstacle. Walls. Allow decorators in the arena to place turrets that weaken nearby combatants. Cool. That took Mithril, Elderwood, Large Bones, Ancient Bones, and Mystic Crystals. We're now back down to 0 Ethereum. We've got a lot of Favor again built up, so I will go back to Lion's Arch and pluck those down, and we'll go for that. All right, let me keep scrolling here. Oh, people are talking about Blight's Boon where I'm scrolled. This is ages ago. Blight's Boon once upon a time worked for Boons on Allies. Did it really? That's crazy. I never knew that. That's insane. Let's come down. Boots on Suicide Watch. WP stealing his show. No, I mean... just because Boots makes some, like, absurd thing that goes in one direction too much, it doesn't mean no one else can touch the traits. And besides, I'm not, like, really... I'm doing what everyone does, which is they just make builds and they don't make a big song and dance out of it. It's just, there you go, that's a build. I mean, I'm talking about it here casually on the stream, but it's not like I've gone off and made a video about, oh, guys, look at this crazy Reaper build, completely unheard of, never seen before. And it's just, you know, a slight tweak of what Boots was doing in a Boots Bad build years ago. That would be so bad. Let me come over here. Come to him. And I don't remember what our storage capacities were, so I'll drop us back down to something like... There we go, 1,000 left. Okay, good. Right, now let's deposit our trinkets in our bank. I'm going to do it at Amnoon Oasis to get a bit of that Path of Fire feeling in there. At the end of the day, that is what people are tuning in for. Benji says you got a few of the Living World Season 3 mini pets from your guaranteed unlocks. Oh, did I? I didn't even know that those would be on the table. That's cool. I bought a few as well. I can't remember which ones, but I definitely have bought like a couple. The vast majority will be on still locked though. Okay, so Smitsk says, good thing you finally got Casey killed. It's Sylvari time. And earlier, I think I saw him talking about the Norn as well. So, just... Oh, does this ruin the mystique? Not really, because it's just a stream that barely anyone watches. So, basically, yeah, I 100% planned that. That was from the very, very start, from the earliest moments of the LP. I always, when I was writing up my game plan of... Okay, what's the best way to tell this story? How do you do this? Killing the human character was always on the books. That was always what I wanted to do. I always wanted to do it Claw Island. I always wanted to be like, okay, who the hell is this Traherne guy? And then the character dies, and then that was always... So there's like a lot of things going on in that video that are like little things I was trying to do to just make sure everyone knew what was going on. So, like, the reason we're in an arcane outfit in that episode that I wanted to change out of the Priory stuff again is so that when I do the lighthouse cutscene, I can unequip all of my armor, but the viewer base won't know, so that the Risen are actually a threat, because as we all know, nothing's a fucking threat in Guild Wars 2. So I can sneakily do that so that I can stage the death of Casey afterwards. I knew exactly what mobs would spawn, because I did some test playthroughs of if I show you here, I have not just Casey, but you see these two icons here? I was testing this out with my other character. He's at Claw Island. And I knew, like, exactly what packets of mobs were at that boat at the end. I knew that Traherne would get caught at the gate. I knew that I'd have an excuse to talk about something with Traherne. I actually tried to get an auto attack on the furthest away group to aggro them all over. I deliberately detargeted a character while autoing in downstate to make sure I wouldn't rally. I deliberately didn't vapor form to drop a second lava tomb, or to go in the water and swim off, which all would have been viable ways out. In the end, by the way, I didn't actually... The plan was to take my armor off. I didn't in the end, because I realized during the mission that it was just hard enough anyway, so because all of our gear was a little bit outdated, so I didn't even have to in the end. But yeah, I had all of that. And from the very start, when I did that first episode on Queensdale, when I made Casey at the very beginning, I always knew he was going to die there. That's why, as well... What is going on? What am I doing here? Did I deposit the stuff on the Reaper? Yeah, I did. It's up here. That's why, in Ascalon, when Tyrix died, I was really genuinely bummed. And I was really considering cutting it and redoing the whole thing just so that you wouldn't see him dead. But then you wouldn't see him get the waypoints the first time. It would be really transparent. So I really didn't want any characters dead. But then he died in a dungeon and I sort of wormed my way out of it. You'll notice in that episode, I only started talking about the permadeath stuff again extremely recently. And that was purely to remind you guys that that was a thing. So that when Casey died, you wouldn't be lost as to why I'm just deleting the fucking character. Yeah, there was a lot of little stuff like that was going on there, basically. Right, so I've got Assassin's Trinkets, Zerk stuff here. I might overcap or be still too low on precision. I don't really care that much. We don't have to min-max in open world that much. Okay, so that's all fine. That's all well and good. Now we've got to get our like, die set up, so I'll figure that out in a second here. Right, oh my god, I'm really scrolled away in chat. Let me just scroll quickly. What mount add-on do I use? I don't use one right now, but I did do a video on it. Smith says we need some Norn love in the LP. I will do an arena net here. I refuse to talk about upcoming or potential or not potential projects in the future. The Norn, who knows? Crunchy was actually spamming the thing about Patreon, which I responded to already. Sorry about this, but the books, basically I've just been swamped with loads of stuff. So last Monday, I never got the chapters out. This Monday, I never got the chapters out. There's also 0 artwork as far as I can see. So I'm basically just going to try and get it done next Monday, and we'll keep going 2 chapters a week. No one watches it anyway, so it sort of doesn't matter if I'm late with the episodes. That's the brutal truth. If people watch the series, then it would... I mean, it's kind of a thing, because I know that people are like, oh, I'm waiting for it to end, but on the other end of the... So it's like, oh, you should get it out quick then, WP. But on the other side, there's no real pressure or risk, because it's almost a waste of time. Like, in terms of, like, I should be making other videos and stuff, and I can do better things with 2 afternoons a week. It's almost a waste of time. So, yeah, unfortunately, I just prioritized other stuff last Monday and the Monday before. It's not a very fun thing to hear, but there you go. Yeah, I didn't make coffee. It's too hot for coffee. I'm not making coffee. Yeah, there's no Tato drink. There's no Tato drink emote. You need more Norn, Lady Norn. I'm scrolling. Thanks very much. A couple more subs as well. Alienix6, Canadea, Loveless. Thank you, guys. Harry GW. A whole year, you say. Nice. Hope you're well. Wanted to say that the PvP format and general content has been top-notch recently. Hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Thanks very much, man. Yeah, I enjoy it. Absolutely. I've fallen a little bit out of love with the casting side of things at the moment. I think I'm a bit fatigued from that, but I'm not officially stepping away from it right now. Am I still planning to make a video about the Deadeye changes? Yeah, that's another one that it was like... It took me several days to like start looking into it, and all I see is just a lot of salt and hate. I don't want to put up a video. I don't genuinely think the video will be very interesting. I don't have many great insights, and what I don't want to do is put up a video that exists as nothing but a conduit for salt. That's not what I want to build my life around. So I'm not sure whether I'll do the video because again, I don't know really what I add to that discussion arena. We'll see what other deck changes the devs do, maybe. But it's got to the point now where if I do it, it will be with boots, maybe. I don't know. But I got a lot of plans with boots. The diving achievements that came in, the gardening, all that stuff. Get the mist trinkets from PvP. I'm not spending ascended shards on that. No way. I'm saving those. Oh, I do now have, though, by the way, just BT dubs. I was pretty excited about this PvP side. I've now completed my collection of Obsidian stuff. So, I don't actually know how many Guild Wars 2 players play enough ranked to get all of these, or care enough, like they're PVX enough, or no life enough. But yeah, I have the full collection again. I've spent so many Ascended Shards on this. What you're looking at here is, I think, at least a full set of PvP Legendary Armor. Which is now my next goal until the devs add even more obsidian weapons where I'll start sinking it into that as well. But yeah, so I've been flushed with ascended weapons now. But yeah, so we got that. Alright, it's good to see you in chat, Georges. Georges is still very, very much on the ball with the casting stuff. So if you guys are looking for your fill there, I don't say that to be polite. I say that because I genuinely believe it to be true. He's good at it, and he's got a lot of the same opinions as I do, which means obviously he's good at it. Quality stream talking while running away. Wait, what? What do you mean? When? Did Guild Wars 1 come with a book? Yes, the manuscripts, it did. It actually came with 2 books. It was split in 2, part 1 and part 2. I mean, but it was a game manual, though, so it's not as exciting as you think. It's not a novel. What would be I don't remember who just goes to the Discord. It should be the Spud Club. Yeah, the Spud Club is our Discord. Is this playthrough going to be used for the series? No, Rain Pumpkin. This is just so that I can refresh myself on Path of Fire stuff, because I like Path of Fire stuff, and because Warrior is beastly at the moment in PvE. This freaking update to Magebane Tether, basically making it a turbocharged big game hunter for the Dragon Hunter, and like infringing on the Dragon Hunter's identity, I think is nuts, but it means we get big numbers, so I'm gonna play it. Yeah, we noted I was yelling Mistform to the water. Yeah, I know a lot of people will have been. There is more even in that video that I've seen one person has commented on, but there's more hinting and things going on than I think most people realize in that video. So I'm very keenly watching that because, you know, I get it. It's like an hour. It's like a movie length fucking thing. It's an hour and a half. You're sitting down, but there is some other stuff in there that I want to see if people pick up on, because my game plan is pretty clear. You know, what happened here I knew about back when Queensdale started, and what's happening here, it may be relevant for the future too. Siren died in vain? Well, maybe. One thing I'm still not quite sure on is how I'm gonna... Well, I'm not gonna go too into the depths of this. Yeah, look, well, what? Come on! Yes, it's spoilers. It's totally spoilers. You got to get on those videos, guys. Alright? If you're gonna be here on the internet. Yeah, the audiobooks aren't cancelled, guys. It's just I have to prioritize properly sometimes. Oh, iced coffee. That would be a really cool idea. I've almost caught up with chat, guys. Look at Nightbot's post above this. Oh, Nightbot is still spamming missed challenges, is it? Well, I'll have to see if Flag can fix that. I mean, look, we don't stream anymore, guys, so it's been a while. We got some housekeeping to do. We got some dust to clear off of the stream. Am I still going for all the Astral skins? Yes, very loosely. I will show you. Kralk. I still have 2k in the bank. I've still got 27 ingots. And I have been collecting some more. But it's going slow because I mix Kralkatite with Diafluorite now. And I spend a lot of this. So it's every other reward track now. So my progress is halved because... But this most recent patch, bug in the system, I think I've got nearly all the rewards on now, so. Except the whatever you're upgrading this backpack. What else we got? Yeah, the weapons change based on the team you're on. That's their gimmick. Miss Tawny every stream, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even properly streamed PvP for ages, so. Listening to your life and the amount of projects you have make me think about my boss giving me 3 projects that are all mission critical as a new employee. What do you mean? I don't think I've got it that bad at the moment. I've even had some time for some leisure gaming. I've been playing Stardew Valley. So it's going alright for me at the moment. I'm feeling pretty good. Alright, let's actually do these skins. Let's get into the sweet PvE warrior murder spree session. So I have on another tab here. I can't look at stream for a second. I have on another tab the look of the warrior that we made back when the dye competition winner did their thing. So I'm going to spitball it from there. So as far as I remember, it was the Elonian? Was it Elonian or was it like the super OP Elonian? No, it wasn't Elonian. It was Sunspear? Spear Marshal? Spear Marshal. Spear? Yeah, that's it. It was this set. It was the Spear Marshal set. And the back piece was the banners of the Sunspear Order. Amazingly... Oh, yeah, because Spear is in Sunspear. So, yeah, this was the gear that we were running. And then the weapons we were using... There might be some fresh new skins now. Let's scroll down. Got the Inquest skin, the Obsidian Mace, Slumbering Mace, Alchemist, Glacial. No, let's not do that. So, we were running the Sunspear weapons as well. Now, before we weren't using Mace, but I'm going to run Mace because Counter Blow. Look at the coefficient on that shit. Well, not the coefficient. Look at the flat damage on that. 1,945 when we don't have any might. And when we're in fights, that will go higher. It's insane. You crit a mob with a counter blow, which is really easy. You can like proper bang them on the nut. So we'll do that, and then it was dyes, and they put, bless them, a ton of work into the dyes. Do you guys remember? Like a lot of work into the dyes. And I'm just gonna guess now. I'm actually just gonna guess. We're gonna see if we can sort of get it right, unless someone can find the link. It was like. Okay, that was definitely purple. You guys are going to hate this, by the way. Just by the way, you're all going to hate this. That was purple. That was purple. And then we had... God, they did go mental, didn't they? Because they had like, oh, this one's going to be white gold, and this one's going to be olive. Oh, olive was actually one of them, wasn't it? Olive was one of the... Oh my god, there's tons of olives. Olive oil? What the fuck? Was there a turquoise as well to match? Basically, we're just trying to match the banner, right? WP trying to fashion. Listen, alright? I will ban you. This is what I'm really good at. This is what I'm renowned for. We should just at least get rid of those. Okay, so it was a little bit like this, maybe, sort of-ish. We also, if I remember rightly, we went to Cordicus's manor because the lighting was clearer there. Look, that's good. Oh, someone found it. Did someone actually find it? Yeah, I'm going to permit you. Stop taking my name. Stop taking my name. You're permitted. Quickly, post it now. You've only got a mile. You've only got like a minute or so. That's not too shabby, is it? I think we did a good job there. Oh, here you go. People are posting it. WP is like Jekyll and Hyde. Every now and then he comes out as Hyde when he posts wonderful fashion characters. But then Hyde comes out when he makes things like the Pumpkin Wizard and that bright purple Sunspears. Okay, let's see. Alright, Guild Wars 2 start. This is it! Yeah, the Wood and Potatoes Natalie Die Contest. Holy wow, you guys are amazing. Alright, so now you've just got to sit through genuinely about 5 minutes more of really exciting content where I input all the dies again. Do you remember that? So the first one is Midnight Ice. Ooh. The next one is teal. Wait. That might be the wrong one, though. How do we know this is the winner? Lots of people submitted. I don't remember a Midnight Ice one. Benji's just given me a timestamp of a video, but I already had that. Yeah, the LP is awesome because of your Fashion Wars skills, and only for that. Thank you, man. How do we know? This might not be the winner, though. Oh, whatever. It's someone who's probably more talented than me, so fine. So teal was the next. Teal. Look, this is clearly not good because it's not rare enough. Oh, that can't be right, can it? That's not right. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the one that you've just submitted. Golden Sheen, teal, Midnight Ice, Golden Sheen. That's not the right one. Yeah, Nightbox's not working. Basically, I don't stream enough anymore, so Nightbot died, and I don't know how to fix it. So we'll fix it later, I guess. All right, script. This is it. This is what we're gonna look like. I want to play the game. I actually want to play. So, who remembers the last stream we did that was like this? It was a while ago. Let me just say, it was a goddamn while ago. But we can recap with this handy feature that ArenaNet implemented, known as the Story Journal. Pretty fascinating, right, guys? So I'm gonna quit. Oh no, we're still in the right place. Okay, so. We went to the Makali outpost where Balthazar's forged army was engaged in a pitched battle against the Crystal Dragon Scion Vlast. Agent Keto was evacuating villagers from the war zone, but he paused long enough to tell us Balthazar himself was nearby, closing in on Vlast. Canon and I tracked Vlast to a plateau, but before we could make contact, Balthazar's herald intercepted us. Though she fought viciously, we made her pay the ultimate price for the innocents she slaughtered in Balthazar's name. In the end, she actually seemed to welcome the end of her tenure as Balthazar's murderous slave. I don't like this. They use the word end twice there. Anyway, but we badly underestimated Balthazar himself. He leveled us with a devastating show of newfound power, though he spared Ritlock, even calling our guildmate friend. As I lie dazed in the sand, Balthazar moved in for the kill. Lie? Is that not the wrong tense? As I was lying, dazed in the sand, Balthazar moved in. Is that actually the correct tense? But Vlast took the death blow intended for me. I can only wonder why. Was he tired of fighting? Eager to die? Was he so heroic that he gave up his own life for a total stranger's? Or did he somehow sense Aureen's bond with me and sacrifice himself to save his sister's chosen champion? You know, I have to say, looking back at this, don't you guys think that Tyria would have been a lot better off if Vlast just let us die here and Aureen manned up and picked Kaith as her champion? Boom, sorted, done. Now we've got two proper Elder Dragon replacements still in place and everything's still hunky-dory. I mean, Vlast was a little bit messed up in the head, a little bit rattled, sure, but I mean, look, we'll do like a comic book thing where someone else becomes the commander after we go, and then and Kaith becomes the new champion. Easy. But no, we're the hero. Whatever the reason, Vlast died in my stead, and his explosive death throes sent Balthazar hurtling away in a flash of light and heat. When I regained my senses, Balthazar was gone, and the desert littered with the crystal shards of Vlast's body, some of which contained messages from Vlast to Aureen. I confronted Ritlock about Balthazar calling him friend, and eventually Ritlock revealed the truth. While searching for his sword Sahothin in the mists, he found and freed a chained figure. That prisoner... By the way, those of you watching the LP right now, it's amazing how much bulkier, not just the retelling of these instances is here now, but how much more complicated the story is. There's a lot more going on if you actually think about it. In the personal story, it's like, aha, I met an Asura. We defended an outpost from Risen using Asura technology. And that's it. And then it never comes back, you know? So it's interesting to see how they sum up a much more complicated plot now, much more layered. When I regained my senses, Balthazar was gone, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here. Eventually, Ritlock revealed the truth. While searching for his sword Sahothin in the mist, he found and freed a chained figure. That prisoner turned out to be Balthazar, and by releasing him, Ritlock made Balthazar's devastating campaign against the Elder Dragons possible. Ritlock swore he'd set things right, but first we have to learn more about what we're up against. To obtain the answers we need, I set out to collect more of Last Crystal messages. This is weird, they're fucking up the tents a lot, aren't they? We already did our massive discussion about what ultimately doesn't seem like good storytelling from the whole Ritlock thing. If you guys remember, we won't go over it again, but the whole thing in the mist, if I remember correctly, remembering everything we could, doing our Path to Fire playthrough, we eventually sort of reasoned this doesn't work, right? That's my memory of it anyway. So, the sacrifice. I gathered more fragments of Last Shattered Body, which contained thoughts and memories intended for Aurene. Together, these memories described an immensely powerful weapon stored in Glint's lair that Balthazar wanted as much as he wanted Vlast himself. We have to find that weapon and keep it out of Balthazar's hands. So I'm headed for Glint's lair to regroup with my guild. Oh, I got really excited reading that dialogue there because it sent my... As I was speaking out loud, my brain went somewhere completely different. And I was thinking about the spear, and I was thinking about how they handled the spear and how they're clearly setting up... In this instance coming up, we're going to destroy the spear, right? So in the future... we're going to look at that moment and regret it. So then I'm thinking, oh yeah, so when are we going to kill Kralkatorrik? Oh, it's going to be in Living World. Oh, there's Living World releases coming. And I was suddenly really... Reading that got me pumped about Living Worlds Episode 3 for some reason. But yeah, okay, so off we go. Not that I expect the spear will do anything there, but just as a reminder, the real story can happen in these episodes. And we already did like a ton of our exploration, so I think we just go in straight away, honestly. I really do. I have reshade on, yes. It's not too thick, so it looks good at the salt flats, I think. Let's scroll through here. And we go through here. Okay, I'm looking at chat again now, guys. WP, you think Balthazar looking like a frail old man was him already using Lys's mirror? Or do you think all the gods could shapeshift at will? I really like your answer to that. I think it's very good, but I don't think the devs have given any proper indication that that's what's going on. So until that happens, I'm not going to go gung-ho onto that. But I think it's a really cool idea. Let me just check as well. 100%. You guys hear everything? The volume's good. You guys can hear the game, right? Don't hold out on me now. Don't tell me it's too quiet. Or too loud. Alright, Jules says the sound's really low. Okay, so we just turned it up a bit, though. So hopefully people can hear it now. Oh, I just tried to enter, but it just turned the prompt off. Thank you.
Are we certain this is the place?
Hey, look who finally showed up.
No sign of Kralkatorrik, Commander. It's definitely moved south.
And no branded either. Not yet, anyway.
That's surprising to hear, considering we're surrounded by Bran.
The landscape certainly makes an ominous impression. All the more reason to finish our business here quickly. Well then, Ritlock, Casimir, care to take point? Which way is Glint's lair?
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
Come again.
When Joria and I were inside, we got there by way of a portal. Not exactly the same as walking through the front door.
Technically, I'm not even sure there is a front door.
If there is, we'll find it. Let's get moving.
God, I've been playing a human for so long recently. Going back to a Norn is just so crazy sounding. It's really interesting, basically sounding like I'm from a comic book again. Someone asked why my reshade doesn't load a billion things. I mean, that's been answered. I've done about 5 or 6 videos on reshade, and every single one of them has answered that question. You just don't put the shaders in there. If you don't understand that, you can't have spent more than 5 minutes looking at reshade. I would suggest you RTFM. But yeah, it doesn't have to do that, which is good news. So, interestingly, Cass's line there about visiting Glint's lair changes depending on if the player has or hasn't done it. Yeah, that was one of the only big moments for that in Path of Fire, really, right? Like, for a Living World participation. They had a couple of things based on biography for humans. And race, obviously, there were quite a few. But aside from that, how was it that I didn't land that full counter? That's obscene. Oh my god, that Bull's Rush was really annoying. Well, Sticker says, AWP, did you know you can set keybinds for mounts? Why would I want to do that, man?
Not now, not ever.
So we can walk deliberately into the
Feel their power.
lava font to hit that one. So basically, I'm not claiming to be a good warrior rotationally or anything here. I'm not going to be maintaining peak performance and my F1s before doing my big bursts, just to be clear. But hopefully we'll get the hang of it. So basically, just so you guys know, we have 1 billion damage modifiers. One is when we use a burst on someone, that can be F1 or F2. We create a tether to them that increases our later damage by 10%. When we use one of these 2 utility skills here, these are physical. So if I kick or pulse rush, I give myself this, peak performance, which is also going to give us another modifier. And I think there's another modifier too that I have to maintain.
Looks like the Forge got a head start on us. We have to find the weapon before they do. Before Balthazar does.
I'm not so sure this weapon is their only priority. These Forged aren't just hunting parties. By the looks of it, they've been dug in here for some time.
Yeah, something is definitely up. Let's take a look around and see what we find.
Wait, hold on. So these Forged aren't own. Oh my god, my text box is huge. I was going to move it up to the top here. What are they hinting at here? Why don't I remember this? The looks of it, these Forged aren't just here looking for this weapon. What else were they doing here then? I actually have no recollection of this. What else were they doing? Vlas had no impact here, right?
Commander, take a look at these tracks.
Any idea what made them?
Something large and heavy. You probably already guessed that, but otherwise, no. I've never seen tracks like these.
Wait, and this hint was to, is this to the giant forged machine at the end of the game? Is this a hint to this again? Because if it was Vlast, our characters would have speculated that. I would have thought it's Vlast because it's got a bit of the crystal texture down there, right? Man, I'm so out of touch with POF. It's ran through my head like water through a sieve. It's actually crazy. Yeah. Oh, you think they were building the War Beast here? Ah. This is not the first time that they've hinted at the War Beast either, because they hinted at it a little bit in Chapter 1 too.
It looks like they're mining branded crystal. But for what?
Why? They used branded crystal in the creation of the War Beast? So the whole point of the War Beast was that Kralkatorrik... They capture Aurene and put her in it, right? Because it's through doing that that they unlock the power to hurt Kralkatorrik. So what has this got to do? Is this their tests for that, maybe? Armored tail segment here.
Is this... Whatever they're building here, it must be enormous.
This large mechanical object is made out of metal. It appears to be the tail section of something. It looks like a part of a larger machine. Okay. Here we get a metal cannon. This heavy apparatus is made of thick, solid metal. It appears to be some sort of cannon. Try activating it.
This thing is drawing power from branded crystals. How is that even possible?
All right, there you go. So it's drawing power. All right. These are questions. These are minor questions with minor answers that I've just forgotten both the question and the existence of the answer altogether. So, all right. So we got that. Am I using reshade? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I think that... No, I don't know. It looks really good on my screen. It looks about the same on the other side as well, so I'm happy with the way that the game looks right now. The reshade barely touches this. It is a little bit. If anything, it's just pulling a bit of clarity out. I mean, the thing is with Path of Fire, you really don't need reshade for a lot of stuff. When I get here in the actual LP, I'm not sure how much I'll use, because they're very good at the post-processing and the color grading and everything at this point. With the expansion, you don't need to lay your own stuff on top, and the intensity of effects that are appropriate elsewhere are no longer appropriate in
Some kind
PF.
of armor. Looks sturdy too. What are they using it for?
The Iron Legion would kill for plating like this, and has several times over.
Yeah, Kralkatorrik vibrates on a frequency. That feels like they kind of gloss over that a little bit as well.
Find anything?
The Forged have been busy. Whatever they're up to, they've rebuilt the area to suit their needs.
It appears Balthazar's found a way to harness power from branded crystals. Between that, the plating, and those tracks,
It must be some kind of war machine.
Maybe it has something to do with the weapon Vlast was talking about.
It's possible. But we're not getting any answers until we get into Glint's lair.
Okay. And it's funny because we don't really get an answer to this in Glint's lair. I wonder whether they should have added a single line of dialogue at the end of this instance that sort of alludes to that. It's like, hey, what was going on at the front then? I guess we don't know. You know, because this is now completely forgotten until the end of the game, I think. Or I just have very little memory here.
Watch yourself, Brandon.
So here we get to fight some... Like, look at the quality that's here. They even have voice... They even have dialogue for Kanak, just pointing out random trash mobs between one area and the next.
So much
Nice.
power.
Come on, I want to properly counterblow someone. I am not used to Mace main hand right now, at all. But there, we can, like, stun and then use Wastrel's Clap. So this skill 4, the warrior, the dagger offhand, that's a huge meaty chunk if they're not doing anything. So you can use the...
Anybody else feel that? Something powerful.
Glint. I can sense her.
Impressive trick for a dead dragon. Any competing theories?
Yeah, stoic twig.
Hold on, what happened there? Did we hear a roar and I missed it? But yeah, you can skull crack someone and then use that. Did we miss a roar? Another thing that's really interesting on the LP is I have to be very careful about which episodes and which classes I use camera shake on or not, because quite often they use camera shake to tell story. Like at several points in the core story, Zaitan will roar, and our only real understanding that he's roaring is quite a silent sound effect, quite a small sound effect, sorry, plus screen shake. So if you don't have screen shake on because you're playing a character that's just got ridiculous levels of screen shake that the devs haven't properly gone back and updated, so it's just constantly there, you miss like story beats. And I wonder if that happened here too. Okay, so we get a ton of lights. I love the animations on this. Look at this.
These heroes are not what I expected. Do they have the courage to endure what's coming? The will to drive it back? Tyria's last hope rests on the unity of the races, the pooling of their strength. It is the only way.
That's Glint. She's talking about Destiny's Edge.
This must be like the memory crystals Vlast left behind. A distillation of Glint's thoughts.
You think this will help us get inside Glint's lair?
I'm not sure, but it's the best lead we've got.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Spread out and see if we can find more crystals.
I love this line because...
I think I see a memory crystal over there.
To me, in the recent forum AFC, the writers were asked, hey, what encapsulates the story of Guild Wars? And we got some cool answers to do with, like, Guild Wars 1 and 2. But I think the actual answer, especially for core Guild Wars 2,
Found something.
is it's a story about the races coming... It's a story about unity, really, which is kind of a boring nonsense thing to write a game about. I mean, how inspirational would I just have fun, whatever, right? Like, go cookie cutter if that's going to sell you more copies to your demo. But they go heavily on this unity idea, so everyone has to come together to fight the Elder Dragons. And I really like that line there from Glint, because it kind of reminds us of that very strong theme that has ebbed away a little bit recently. And obviously it's in reference to Destiny's Edge and the stuff that spiraled, guess what, the core story. Hey, Ridlock. He says, I think I found one of those memory crystals. Why is it the crystals are reacting to you? He says, I'm not sure. Maybe whoever's whatever's left of Glint recognizes me. We did fight Kralkatorrik together. Yeah, I remember when I first played this, I distinctly wanted a little bit more from Ritlock about his prior experiences here. Because he's retreading old ground right now. None of us are, but he is, and I don't know. I felt like they didn't go hard enough here. This was undoubtedly what we're currently playing. The hardest, I think, from a writer's room perspective, the hardest part of all of Path of Fire to do, by a long way. The amount of different things that they have to touch on and juggle at this moment of the story is mental, and they only have so many lines to do it, you know, and only so much budget and playtime to do it. So, yeah, it's, I remember being really struck by that when this first came out, and they walk the tightrope quite well. What are these memory crystals anyway? Vlas left one behind too. All I know is that I can feel Glint inside there. Her power. Do you think we'll be able to find a way inside Glint's lair? He says it's hard to say, considering she's dead, but I could feel Glint's power coming from that memory crystal. It might be enough to open one last portal. Okay, maybe. Cass and Kanak seem to have not been happy that I came to Ritlock first. Did they have dialogue also? So here, we're walking to this. No? Yes? Find and restore the crystal. So, are we already at the point where we're gathering the orbs and things? Or am I already missing something? I guess they want us on mounts as well. I need to get used to that. Yeah, here we go. So grab around, collect crystal essences to get inside Glint's lair. Got this one.
Well, you did go through all that trouble to find a Springer. Maybe now's the time to use it.
Okay, dude. Yeah, no worries. Oh, is this the actual gate in the story here for forcing you to have a skimmer? No, Springer. The gate is earlier, right? It's in the actual open world. You can't get to the later regions of the map without one, right? Hello, Mr. Devourer. So yeah, here, by the way, you can... I do like Warrior with camera shake, but you've got to kind of be a bit zoomed out as you do it. So yeah, you can use the knockdown or CC from a few of the mounts straight into a Wastrel's Ruin. I love it. Did I call that Wastrel's Demise earlier? It's Wastrel's Ruin. Or Wastrel, whatever. I always get picked out on my pronunciation of that one. Yeah, Glint's lair is specifically described in Guild Wars 1 as being hidden within a single grain of sand, but the portal that gave you access was here, right?
So much power.
So weird feeling that we're here, you know? I spent so many years staring at this on the world map, excited by what it could mean, thrilled of what the area would look like, and I mean, this is it, you know? It's not that it's not pretty, it's just a very strange feeling. So, we walked there and now the green dot disappeared. I'm not sure why. Oh, there you go. This building. Did we get dialogue from these? I can't remember.
I remember only fragments from the days before the Forgotten performed their ritual on me. Though I still feel a connection to Graal Catoric, it no longer compels my actions. My will is my own. I am free. I see Tyria as I've never seen it before.
Like, this is the thing.
Glint never talked about what it was like before she was cleansed. Must have been a lot to process.
Like, here.
To say the least.
This is exactly what I mean, right? They've got such a tightrope because Glint is, like, at fever pitch. She's at the central point of so much speculation and history and, like, just deep knowledge and understanding of the world. Like, if you're gonna do a bit where we're kind of semi-interacting with Glint, fine, but you just know, as a writer, they would have known that the Ravenous fans wanted so much information there that is, like, at best tangential to the moment, but it would feel so shit to not give it to us. So it's like, that's a perfect moment there, really, of it's like, okay, does it really matter in Path of Fire when we get to interact, sort of semi-interact with Glint here? Does it really matter if we find out more about before she was known as Glint, her Glorsk days? Is it actually that important? Is it more? Is it important that we get more clarification on that Ara path with the altar? Well, no, not really. It's not that important, but it would feel so horrible to not get it now because, like, everything, all the walls feel so tight, right? Because it's like, what's our next opportunity to see Glint after this one? If we don't get it now, when will we get it, you know? So they got to, like, have that in there. And then there'll be another example of a similar thing. And then another example of a similar thing. And another, and another, and another.
Last, my child. Your birth begins a new age. A new design. I sense Graal Catoric stirring in its sleep. Could it know what I'm planning? What you are meant for? Time grows short. I fear what will happen when the Elder Dragon awakens. And I'm sorry. You must bear this burden.
Jules says in chat, I think it's interesting from WP's perspective. WP seems very much like the kind of enthusiast that enjoys the imagination of an idea more than the concrete execution of it. Like with the gods, for instance. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding of my point. Not universally for all media, but for MMOs, and particularly an MMO that I've covered for so long, and kind of a lot of the concrete execution, the magic is lost from, because you just understand how the game works and how it's designed and how it's built. But yes, absolutely. You know, there was an example of that in the Claw Island video I did today. I fucking love that line where Traherne describes the undead fleet sailing to them under like that guise of like cloud and enchanted mist and stuff. Like, it sounds so cool, doesn't it? There is nothing ever anyone at ArenaNet, no matter how talented they are, that could ever match how thrilling that sounds to me by actually like putting it in a cutscene or something. The concrete edition of that, I don't think could ever match my imagination. So yeah, absolutely, when it comes to this. But when you look at more like tightly confined products, I think they can capture my enthusiasm very much. Like games like Dear Esther, if you watch my experience and interpretation of that, you know, when it's fresh and it's smaller and more constrained, I think you can do much more artistic and interesting things and be compelling. But yeah. Is it unacceptable to never get a conclusion? No, I don't think. I used to, when I was a lot younger, I used to think it was unacceptable. But I actually think mystery for mystery's sake does have value in franchises now. I really do. Where the line is not easy to talk about, though. You know, what kind of mysteries you are welcome to leave and which ones you're not. You don't care if Garen remains a mystery, but you'd like to see Malik. The thing is with Malik, right? Like, I would actually say that yeah, if we're being perfectly reasonable and realistic, if you are actually to sit back and look wide perspective at this product, which no players do anymore. No player genuinely has a wide enough base of understanding about Guild Wars 2. We're all focused on whatever we were playing recently. It's too big and it's spanned too many years. But if we were to sit back, I think that Malik by rights has more cause to answer, because he's actually been in story, voice acted, quite deliberately baited a mystery out of in a very real prominent position in the story, while the Wizard's Tower is only really relevant to some people who visit an you know, only some story steps take you to its Garen and Garenhof. Only some races take you to Kessex Hills, and when you're there, none of them actually interact with the tower at all. Even the one with the arcane eye there, the tower is just background, you know? And the only time you get details about what's going on there is listening to people in the town. So I think that just from a broad perspective like that, the Wizard's Tower is more okay to leave as a mystery. Enthusiasm-wise, it's obvious, I think. Well, I don't know. What are you guys more enthusiastic about? The second Pale Tree? Or Malik's Tree? Or, the Wizard's Tower? Which one's more exciting? Type of 1, if you're more excited to see where Malik went and his other tree and all of that stuff. Type of 2, if you're more excited about the Wizard's Tower, is Garen, the kidnappings and all of that at Garenhof. And its involvement in Guild Wars 1 as well. Type of 1 for the Sylvari, 2 for the Tower. Wow, if there's a lot of votes there, but I think there's more ones. Maybe I just need to, like, remember how fucking fanatical people are about the Sylvari, and I just don't care as much about them as other people do. That's crazy. It seems reasonably split, but it sort of feels like maybe a few more people care about the Sylvari. You know? I've missed an essence. It's up there. What second Pale Tree? The whole point with Malik is that he's from another tree. That there's another tree out there. He's not from the Grove. He's a Sylvari that's wandering around, but he's not from the Grove. He was disconnected, so he doesn't really remember anything. But he's not like the others. So Malik's story is about the origins of the Sylvari as far as seeds in a cave, and one of them Ronan took and planted and blah blah blah. But what about the other seeds in the cave? Where did the seeds initially come from? What was the capacity of the dream and the Pale Tree and the avatar of the tree and all of that 10,000 years ago in the last Elder Dragon Rising, all of that stuff. That's what Malik represents. That's his... He's the key to unlock that door of the world, you know. Which also can be potentially looked at in Echovoud Forest with Ergos and the Wardens and whatnot, by the way.
With the aid of the Forgotten, I have come to terms with my freedom. But freedom, I am finding, comes with a heavy burden. When my mind is drawn to the suffering of Tyria's people, the inescapable doom they face. I feel a sickness in my heart, the first stirrings of compassion. I turn their plight over and over in my mind. The Elder Dragons, the world consumed. I can abide these visions no longer. There must be something I can do.
So...
Hey, look there. A portal's opened. Restoring the crystals must have triggered it. I think we found our way in.
See, screen shake. It's important for some story steps. So, one of the things I have to think about with the LP is playing builds that have low screen shake, so that they are not only the system isn't annoying, but also so that it's most impactful in the story at the right time. So, like, yeah. I find this fascinating. I really, really love this. Let's look at this line here. When my mind is drawn to the suffering of Tyria's people, the inescapable doom they face, I feel sickness in my heart. The inescapable doom they face. Which is kind of funny because, I mean, there's so much to unpack out of this because she says Tyria's people. Tyria's people may be doomed, yes, but Tyria is not. Tyria endures. The cycle of magic and Elder Dragon consumption of magic, that, as far as we have understood so far, is the natural way of things. That, though, you know, it's got its ups and its downs, when you step back across thousands and thousands and thousands of years, you look at the trends, that is balance. The Elder Dragons are balance. They are, as to quote Morgemoth, they are nature. And to deny them is to embrace oblivion. So it's really interesting that this is what the devs have built. This is what this franchise is. A world that seeks to kill its inhabitants over time. What is good for the world is not what is good for the people. And vice versa. What is good for the people, if you want the people to no longer be doomed, you're going to destroy the world. You are going to embrace oblivion. And that, when we finally get through all the chuff and the crap and the mess, when that is what we say, this is what Guild Wars 2 is, I think that's really compelling, isn't it? That's really cool. It's not that it's completely uncharted fantasy territory, but I think it's really cool. So then we look at Glint's place in this. So Glint, like, understands the machine. She understands what Kralkatorrik is doing. She's helping Kralkatorrik in their own primal whatever way. They're doing it. And now she begins to believe in the people. But it's so amazing to hear her say that the inescapable doom they face, and yet to deny all of this is to kind of put them into doom, which is why this plan begins, right? To not just defeat Elder Dragons, but replace them so that everyone can be happy. But then you kind of get to this world where, okay, so Glint is now thinking, no, we have another way. I'm going to make my new design, Glint's ambition or whatever, right? And now we're in a place where essentially you boiled Tyria down to... Tyria tries to kill its people because the Elder Dragons are just greedy assholes. It's just because they're assholes. All we gotta do, guys, is just put non-assholes in their places, and there you go. Alright? Don't be a dick. Sweet. Kralkatorrik, you're a dick. Aurene, you're not a dick. You can go up there. Morgemoth, you're a dick. Pale Tree, you're not a dick. You can go there. And now, if we put it that way, is that compelling? This is why, what I really want you guys to do, if you're big WP fans or Guild Wars fans, you've been watching me since Out of the Shadows came back. You'll remember when Out of the Shadows came out, I did a lot of talking about this. I did a video specifically about it. Because Out of the Shadows seems to suggest that as beings gathered magic or like were hit by the Bloodstone explosion and infused with lots of magic, they kind of went a bit nuts and greedy. And like... And so the question becomes, why are the Elder Dragons dicks? Why can't we just convince them, hey, play nice? Do you know what I mean? How is Aurene going to be so much better than the other dragons? What, because she's empathetic? But, like, Glint is that, and she's the biological daughter of Kralkatorrik, so maybe he has that, but he's crazy anyway. Is it really a coincidence that the 6 biggest bads out there, they are all dicks? Is that a coincidence? Are we just gonna... Because, come on, that's fairy tale. That's nonsense. Like, the idea is there's a reason that they're dicks. Maybe the act of getting magic itself, consolidating magic as you do, makes you a dick. So, is that the next kink in the plan? Is there this greed side? Because they're dragons, right? And that's what I said about the Shadows. That's what really exciting is. Dragons are greedy. And maybe that's what Guild Wars 2 is trying to tunnel down to eventually. It's amazing, by the way, if you guys play Divinity Original Sin 2, so many of its themes are exactly the same as this. It's about magic and how the world handles and distributes magic. Whether you consolidate it to a few... whether you try to spread it out to everyone, and all the endings you get to pick in that game. It crosses so much with Guild Wars. No, they didn't introduce the idea that magic corrupts in Bloodstone, Fen, and Out of the Shadows, but they dived into it a lot deeper. And you got to see and interact with it a lot more. And they had a lot of cool lines of dialogue talking about it and exploring it. Yeah, okay, so Protoss Boss makes a little pedantic point, but it's splitting hairs. They're not dicks, they're forces of nature. It's not that they're malicious, it's that that's irrelevant. We don't care whether they're passionate about being dicks or whether they're unthinking dicks. The result is we don't like what they're doing, that they are damaging us and our existence, right? So from our perspective, they're dicks. It doesn't... You're right that, yes, they're elemental forces. I mean, come on, man. What, you think I don't know that? After the very first introduction to the dragons is always that they've been primal forces. I mean, the game's kind of flirted with them being more intelligent than that and whatnot. Like, I get it that it's a dispassionate job for them, right? I'm not saying it's a passionate job for them, but it's wrong, supposedly, right? And what I'm saying is, well, they're all like that, so there must be a reason why they're all like that, so blah, blah, blah. Is Bram full of magic, then? And, you know, the game touches on it in so many different places, like Matthias in Wing 2. Alright, we're going in. We're in the lair. So, there's a whole other world of things to talk about now as well. The Bloodstone Spear.
Is everything all right?
So let me...
Yes, it's just... This is definitely the place Joria and I were brought to, but it's changed. The brand is spread here. I wish she was here.
Alright.
Oh, burn me. This is the spear Glint gave us to kill Kralkatorrik, fashioned from its own blood. I had no idea it survived the fight.
This must be it. The weapon Vlast was talking about. We found it.
Watch out! It's one of Glint's Crystal Guardians.
There's the welcoming committee.
Damn it.
What's our move, Commander? Do we kill it, or...
It's corrupted. Take it down.
Oh god, I have to remember the mechanics of this now. Right, we pick this up. This means we reduce incoming damage and absorbs damage from Vortex Pull. He's got a break bar. Let's just break that. Wastrel's Demise. Oh, I shouldn't have F2'd. I should have F1'd. And then use my Axe 5 right in that. So what's this here? Do I need to leave?
Commander, we're getting chewed up in here.
What about using their shields? They won't mind.
So we killed that guy. We get more shields. Okay, his break bar's up again. These are really easy break bars. My god. Okay, so we can eviscerate that. Right, so what's very cool, when we kill this guy, I can do something. Oh, by the way, another thing I've learned a lot about from the personal story is just how bad it is if you haven't read Edge of Destiny. I mean, it really is. That because they botched like the third act and stuff, They are so bad at actually describing what went down with Whitlock and Logan and stuff. I really think they kind of ruined their own ability to have characters you care about and stuff. Like, I can really feel it in my playthrough at the moment. Because there's about 50 times an episode where I'm like, oh, read the story. Oh, read the novel. Read the novel. I get that we're doing basically no damage. Do I have to pick this up? Special action? All right, special action is where it's at. Okay, quickness. Do this. Am I safe there? No, I'm not safe. Right, so, but here's an advantage. Special action again. Oh, God, I'm actually getting blown up here. Full counter that. Their animations are so slow in PvE. There's skull crack. Oh shit, I missed that break bar. That's really annoying. It's alright, we can probably kick him and get through the next one. I'm going to deliberately bait a full counter here with these next crystals. This one here. Oh, what? It didn't work. Really? Are we actually able to DPS him through this? No, we're not. We need to get a thing. I'm trying to talk to you guys about too much. I don't see
Stand and fight.
So what we got here? One of these? Oh, I see. So they're on the perimeter. Oh, shit. And if we get hit... Oh, what? At the end of the hill? I got hit at the end of one animation. Are they going to res me? Which got rid of the special action, which then I tried to heal and got hit at the end of the other one. All right, so I understand how this works now. We got to kill him. I'm going to balls rush in because we evade during that now, thanks to recent buffs. We'll do that, then that.
Such might.
We'll kick him. We'll full counter this. Please full counter something. Yes, it worked. And now we can do this. Right. Yes, the book, for God's sake. I'm going to read you a passage. What I can now do, because I have permission, I'm going to read you a passage from Edge of Destiny about the book guy, about this spear that we're about to interact with. So we can actually read. Why doesn't that work? That's so annoying. We can actually read. I guess I'll balls rush in and not use it on my way out. Where are some of the guys over here? See this broken golem here? Okay, that just reduces damage. This one over here from the vortex pull. Now we've got this one. Got the special action. Move in. Pop it. Eviscerate. Westrous collapse. Kick. Okay, that should be it. He's... Yeah, nice. Didn't work. Oh, I can counterplay as well. I could actually be playing so much better than you've been watching. Sorry to the warrior players out there. We could try and grind through this again. He phases so much.
You won't escape.
It's really annoying when the devs do like these kind of like complicated set pieces for bosses when you're just like learning the new builds. Because you just want to learn the bit, you want to play the game, and now that you got all this other stuff you're sort of layering on top of. It's not really their fault because I'm just coming back into the game after a long time in the middle of having not played POF for a while, and on a new build. Fuck's sake! Wow, we didn't even kill him there with the throw axe. Grab. Wait, why is it gone again? What? Why is it gone? I didn't get hit, did I? Oh, maybe going into the vortex just straight up hurts me, so I need both facets again. So 1 and then 2. Oh my god. Oh, we even broke combat there. That's brilliant. There he is. Now he's dead. Great. Okay. A little bit of story then.
Look, the way's clear now.
No, I love the Mega Golem in the Char Village. I thought that was really fun. I get that a lot of people whined about it, but I really like the Mega Golem. Okay, so it's open up. Right. Let me get the book. So, and all I have to do... Now, this is Edge of Destiny, so it's J. Robert King writing on and on and on about massive... here you go. Battles all the time, but sometimes we do get dialogue. So, check this out. Just finding the right... Kraukatoric is coming, Glint announced in her sanctum. Fighting him will not be like fighting me. Your golems and your weapons cannot harm him. There is only one thing that can. With a grace that belied her size, Glint slid past the companions and reached the other side of the sanctum. She snatched up the crystal spear that hung there and swung it twice before her. It moaned hollowly as it cut the air. This spear was carved from one of Kraukatorik's own spines, Glint explained. It can pierce his hide, can find his heart. She thrust it out to Ritlock. Take it. Ritlock stared for a moment at the spear, then clamped his claws around it. You must strike the killing blow right here, Glint motioned to her side, tapping a groove between her ribs. You must be running when you deliver the stroke, with all your weight behind the lance. Can you do that? Yes. I will battle him in the air. I will drive him down toward you. He may be on the ground only for a moment. That is when you must strike. Snaff piped in. I can help you keep Kraukatorrik on the ground. How, little one? Fighting Kraukatorrik is like fighting a sandstorm. Snaff grinned. Yes, I have some experience with sand. One of my best friends was made of the stuff. This is no time to brag, Zoja said. I'm not bragging, Snaff tutted. To the dragon, he said, I'm an expert in creating power stone portals into mines. They are portals, except that you don't walk through them with your body, but with your mind. No one else has even attempted this kind of work. And how will you survive in the mind of an elder dragon? Glint asked. It has no reason. It has only hunger, rage, greed. Snaff nodded. I play to the hunger, the rage, and greed. I become the itch that must be scratched. How? Glint asked bluntly. Snaff strode over beneath the emerald tree. Is there an emerald tree in here, guys? Is there an emerald tree? I don't see an emerald tree. This is in this room, by the way. What are these green gemstones hanging here? They are petrified drops from Kraukatorrik, blood from his last battle. For thousands of years I have gathered them from the sands of the desert and hung them on that tree, keeping them from mortal hands. They are magically potent. They're like power stones, Snaff said avidly, but tied to the life force of Kraukatorrik. He plucked an emerald leaf from the tree. Do you know what I can do with these? Glint seemed almost to smile. What? That one golem I mentioned, Sandy, was made out of billions of grains of sand and thousands of power stone chips. I controlled Sandy with a power stone laurel, which sent thoughts from my brain into tiny gemstones within him. But you don't have time to build a golem, Logan objected. I don't need to build one. With these crystallized drops of blood, thousands of them, I could take hold of your former master. Glint's eyes drew wide. We'll pack these blood droplets into the exploding arrowheads, and each one that pierces his hide will fill him with thousands of power stone fragments. They'll be salted through him by the time I need to take over his mind. Glint shook her head. You cannot match the will of an elder dragon. And Zoja set her hands on her hips. He stared down Jormag. He can stare down this one too. Yeah, if you guys don't remember, there is actually a scene in Edge of Destiny where they see Jormag. He can do it, Air assured Glint. But we're going to need more than power stone arrows. We need to get more of these emeralds attached to the dragon sooner. She snapped her fingers. Those laurels you make. Snaff, could you make something like that for the dragon? Snaff's eyes lit. Yes, I could. It'll take a rib out of the cockpit of my big, but I could fashion a power stone piece, maybe a yoke or torque that could clamp onto the dragon. And Glint, Air said, could you fasten a yoke about Kraukatorrik? He would not submit to that, she responded. Air strode toward her. Then battle him. For millennia you have wanted to stop your master. Now you can do it. Battle him in the skies and place on him a power stone laurel, a yoke that will give us access to his mind. Glint's eyes narrowed as if she saw the fight in the sky. It will take time. You will be overrun by his minions before I can place the laurel. Trench works, Air said. U-shaped fortifications in the sand. There are 3 colonnades, 3 entrances to this sanctuary. 3 entrances, guys? 1... Whatever. There are 3 entrances. There are 3 entrances to the sanctuary. We'll dig a deep trench before each one and fill them with expelled dragon blood stones, Zodja said. All eyes turned to her. I can make them stick to minions, she said. I can make them embed themselves, and then Snaf can take over their minds. He can use the minions against each other. Keep back the tide until you have placed the dragon laurel. Perfect idea, Air said, giving Zodja a rare nod. And when Snaf must shift his mind from the minions to the master, we will all guard the 3 doors, keeping him safe until Ritlock can deliver the killing blow. How can you keep back thousands of giant monsters? Glint asked. Garm and I can hold 1 gate. Kaith and Logan can hold another. And Big Zodja can hold the 3rd. So that's the end of the chapter. That's where we're introduced to the spear. That was Destiny's Edge's plan to kill an elder dragon. And I love that last line, by the way. How can you fight back giant monsters? Yeah, well, I'll just take my dog and I'll stand at the door because I'm a fucking Norn, bitches. God, the Norn are cool when they're written well. So yeah, then we're right near the end of the book here. Then guess what, guys? There's a lot of stuff about Queen Jenna and Ebonhawk. And we all know this story. We all know the disaster. We know that this plan falls apart. I'm skipping ahead. I'm just trying to get back to the spear because the spear is what's relevant. I'm scanning. I'm control F'ing using my eyeballs for the word spear. Oh, there we go. So Logan's decided to leave, and Ritlock's pissed off. He's shouting, and he says, Air says he's gone, Air repeated stonily. The others were gathering now, stunned. Air straightened. We can't change that now. We have our plan. And Ritlock shouts at her, Logan was crucial to the plan. It's all about keeping Snaf safe long enough that I can strike the blow. I can't guard Snaf while I'm running with the spear. We'll guard Snaf without him. There are 3 entrances to the sanctum. We need Logan, Ritlock shot back. He's our best defender. He's always beside me. He's not beside you now, Air snapped. Snaf, get the Power Stone Rogue Yeti, now. Ritlock, Kaith, and Garm, prepare your positions. Kraukatoric will find this place and find all of us. Get ready to defend. So that's Air's decision to go on with the plan, which gets people killed and disaster. And Zodja ends up hating her for getting her best buddy killed. That all happens in this room. The reason I'm reading this out to you guys is there's a lot of stuff here in this room. For like the proper nerds out there, we're like proper jerking off to get back in here. Like, it's so thrilling. And remember what I said earlier on the stream, that this part of the story is a tightrope. Like, there's so much they're juggling and that they've got to do, but like most of their population's never read this book. So what do we get that like as hints of that? We get this, the broken golem here. This is big. This golem is battered and broken down with one gauntlet missing. Its body's been crystallized. This must be what remains of Big Snaf. You know, like there's so much that Ritlock could say here. So it's not just dialogue wise, but it's like environmentally properly depicting this place that was represented in the book so long ago. That itself is supposed to be referencing a Guild Wars 1 location. Like, do you guys get what I mean? That it's like a real challenge. I'm scanning for spear again. I love the idea that it's the char that would have landed the killing blow, by the way. I'm just scanning through as they all get absolutely destroyed right now. Obviously, this isn't just Snaf dying. This is Glint dying. And there's the whole Zephyrite visit here. The Zephyrite visitation. The mysterious person giving the Master of Peace the egg and all of that. You know? All the pre-corruption Glint stuff, it's just kind of... That's before we even touch on Balthazar and the Forged and whatnot. That's how hard this part of the story is. Do you really... I mean, it's very easy to criticize, but if I genuinely imagine myself in one of those writer rooms, do I genuinely think I could have done better? I'm reading about Glint dying. Obviously, eventually one day we will read this on the channel. I hope. Depends how Ghost of Ascalon views go, I guess. But, it's such a shame, because I really was so passionate about reading all these. I can't even see the word spear, right? I honestly can't see the word spear anywhere right now. I just want to read a line about Ritlock having to drop it and run or something. Oh, here's the bit where Glint dies. They do lots of short... Robert King does really well here. Though her lungs were filling with blood... We're well into the fight here, and everything's gone tits up. Though her lungs were filling with blood, Glint laboured skyward like a wounded dove. She would have but one chance this time. Kraukatorrik knew she was there in the storm, would be seeking her with all of its focus. If only she could spot its head first. And there it was, below her and to the left. Glint tucked her wings and dived. She jutted her jaw so that the bloodstone yoke reached forward to take hold. She fell from the sky, millennia of vengeance packed into a moment. The yoke stabbed down toward the dragon's horns and neck. But it glimpsed her. Its head darted up. Before she could set the yoke, its fangs snapped onto her body. Glint jolted, seized in the maw of the monster. She could almost reach the back of Kraukatorrik's head, could almost put the yoke in place, but one more bite from him would kill her. She lunged. Kraukatorrik bit. A dragon scream split the heavens. It's so cool, isn't it? It's really good. Air looked up. Which one? I'm not going to read the whole thing. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so we don't actually hear about the spear. We don't even hear Ritlock leaving the spear. And then we're back to Logan and Dylan and stuff. Yeah, and then we're just at the end of the book. And there is no end to the book, really. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, rip. And then it's just, we end with, Here's another thing that they never touched on. This is the very end of the book now, guys. I've skipped many pages ahead. The entire story opened with Air, their leader, so she's like a bit of the focus, right? Doing her sculpting, and there's a bit about that at the end. But then finally, this is the end of the whole book. Ready? Listen to this. I talked about this on the Let's Play, but never really demoed it to you all. Kaith, everyone's dead and gone and split apart, and it's just all nightmare, right? So this is how they end it. They say, Kaith walked along the dragon brand, the wide swathe of destruction laid down by Kraukatorrik. Every once in a while, she would bend down and pull a large green crystal from the sands. Dragon's blood, she said, staring gladly at one such stone before sliding it into her pack. It was lonely work, wandering these desolate places, searching for the secrets of Kraukatorrik and the Elder Dragons. But it was even lonelier when she travelled back to Holbrak, or Ratasum, or Divinity's Reach, or the Black Citadel, only to find that her one-time friends had become strangers. But they would be her friends again. Someday they would join her. Someday they would fight the dragons again. Someday. And that's it. That's how they end the book. So when I mentioned... do you remember there's that line from Logan in the personal story where he's like, yeah, I don't think Kaith gets it, right? Like, we're not friends anymore. We don't know. She just acts like we're on a break. And she doesn't get it. You know, he says that at DR, and like as a Guild Wars 2 player that's not read the book, you'd be like, yeah, whatever. But when you get that context, that's how they end the book. It's all about Kaith, you know, and that's why it's so important that Kaith is the one that has the meeting that comes back together and so on and so forth. It's sad and scary looking back at this book and looking back at Core's story, just to see how how cack-handedly season 1 went. With just the complete fucking... Oh. Look at everything they built. Look at everything they were working towards. And then they were like, here's Rock the Bram. And now let's talk about Caniac. Oh my god, Death Knight's Edge 2.0. It's so like... I mean, I'm used to them now, but it's really, really strange, isn't it? But yeah, okay. So yeah, the spear that we were talking about. Hello. Ritlock was supposed to hold this fucking thing. Look at this. Dude, you were supposed to charge with that? Okay. Let's go hit this memory crystal.
Prophecy is not always a gift. Often I see things I wish I hadn't. But when the vision is clouded, I am most uneasy. The heroes have gathered, and Kralkatorrik approaches. I am not yet prepared to face the Elder Dragon, and distressingly, I cannot see beyond the coming battle. Is it because I die? I can't die without finishing my work. I have to stop Kralkatorrik. The Forgotten told me much, but not everything. What did they tell the Six? What do the gods know that I do not? So much is unclear, but I am out of time. I must keep my faith and hope that my children will carry on my legacy.
Yeah, and then there's that other stuff about her being prophetic. So there's all of that this
Glint
instance had to do
never
with.
said anything to Destiny's Edge about a legacy. Only that Kralkatorrik had to be stopped.
Stopped, yes, but killed? Do you suppose she knew about the consequences?
Maybe that's why Vlas sent us here. To destroy the Dragon's Blood Spear.
Bad idea, boss. Glint told us that weapon was made specifically to kill Kralkatorrik. If we destroy the spear, we'll be powerless to stop it. Unless you got a pile of dragon-slaying gear I don't know about.
Killing them is no longer an option. Not without a plan to deal with the aftermath. Balthazar doesn't care what will happen to Tyria. We can't risk the spear falling into his hands. We have to destroy it.
Fine. Just so long as I'm on record. This is a bad idea.
Oh, this is really cool. I'm really glad we read that. Isn't this cool? Like, I don't think she wanted us to destroy either. So this is the mistake, guys. Short-term gains lead to long-term problems. POF, we are going to destroy the spear. Another thing that really strikes me here, having read the novel and then seeing this as well, is who made the spear, you know? Like, that's a mystery. Like, who made it? It was built out of Kralkatorrik's spine, so we're dealing with something from 10k years ago. So we can get more story about that when we find the manufacturers of the spear, you know? Also, yes, what a cool comment. NG Laru says, Core Tyria was dependent on people reading a book to introduce the characters properly. That didn't work out, so they made new characters in Season 1, and now Season 1 is not accessible. You're absolutely right. I mean, how crazy is that? I will note that they obviously weren't trying to make the book a must-read situation, but scoping issues meant that that's what happened. I mean, you can very clearly... They're so, like, shit and, like, patchy about when exactly they tell you the key things from the book that it ended up that way. This is a really beautiful touch. Look, Ritlock crouches down next to Big Snaff. He doesn't even talk to us. Do you guys want to hear about this, how it actually fell there? Do you guys... I don't know, maybe I can find that. Battle on the Crystal Desert. What happened to Big Zodra as well, by the way? Oh, it's great. There's a lot about Snaff dying. There is a lot, and it's all very poetic and beautiful, but we would be there for too long. So, yeah. Could we return and make a similar spear, maybe from Vlast? What, rip one of his spines out or something? I don't know. Read us the whole book, says Coop. I'm trying to read you a book over on it's just got to be Ghost of Ascalon first, though. I really should have started with Destiny's Edge, I think, given how the LP's going.
The task is done. Now let us all imagine Balthazar red-faced and frustrated over his failure to stop us. Ah, yes, that's lovely.
I just hope we made the right decision. I feel lost without the guidance of the gods. Is Ritlock okay?
He's brooding. Char loved to brood. I'm sure he's fine.
You mind checking in on him, Commander?
No, the Char love to brood. It's fine. Yes, what did someone just say? What happened to Zodja in general? Yeah, fuck what happened to Big Zodja. Just what about Zodja? Yeah, didn't Felicia say she was doing some voice acting recently? So I don't know.
This was Snap's golem, wasn't it?
What's left of it, yeah. I failed my guildmates, Commander. I failed Glint. Balthazar wasn't the only one I ran into during my time in the Mists. I also met Glint. She taught me the ways of the Revenant. I thought she meant for me to finish the job Destiny's Edge started. But here we are, trying to save Kralkatorrik. That damn dragon is still alive. And Glint, Snaff, and Air, they're all dead. I need a win, boss. I gotta make this right. Let's take Balthazar down.
I mean, are you guys getting a headache? This goes back to the Mist thing. I mean, again, the tightrope. It's insane. Another plot point is congested here. There's got to be some serious Guild Wars 2 laxative here for the writing team, and I don't know what that is called. But this is crazy. So, yeah, and this is, like, abrupt and unfinished, and what's our expectation of the writers now? Do we see this? Is this considered a real answer from them now? Like, how deep are they going to keep going with this? Because, like, there's so much to gloss over, guys. I mean, how can I properly articulate why this is so extraordinary? What Ritlock just casually alluded to there, without giving any kind of clarifying statement, is that he was having intellectual, like, he was having discourse, conversation with Glint after her death. Like, there's so much that would have been said there, but apparently was unsaid to leave us where we are now. And there's the whole casually glossing over him learning in the ways of the Revenant. Like, you can ask why, how, or what to so many different places if you just let your mind wander on this idea of... He just confirmed to us that he speaks to Glint. So where else does Path of Fire or Season 4 talk about this? Where? It doesn't, does it? I think this is it. I think this is it. I mean, we don't get even a fancy cutscene to gloss over this one. We at least got a fancy cutscene to gloss over the Balthazar bit and why he didn't. I mean, no. Oof. And this isn't what I want rocking around my brain while I'm trying to enjoy all this other stuff. I'm not saying that this is bad, by the way, because again, I applauded this before because I do think it's good. It's just, it's amazing.
So the spear's destroyed. Can we go kill that loathsome god now?
We've stalled Balthazar's plans, but we're no closer to bringing him down. And we'd all like to avoid a repeat of our last encounter.
Commander, we're rudderless. We need guidance. I think we should go to the gods and ask them ourselves.
Ask them ourselves? You mean go to the Mists?
And then they do this!
Not sure I like the sound of that.
And if Ritlock really did meet Balthazar in the Mists, maybe there's more to his story than we realized. Maybe the gods really are helping us.
I mean, this is crazy.
I've done everything you've asked of me, Commander. But I have questions that need answering.
So do I. We know we're outclassed from our last meeting with Balthazar. This may be our only way forward. All right, Kaz. We'll do it your way. But how do we reach the gods?
There's a portal to the Mist at the Tomb of Primeval Kings. I think we should start there.
Then that's where we'll go. Kaz is right. It's high time we got some answers.
Okay, so what I think is there literally needed to be 4-ish instances purely dealing with what you've watched on this stream. Seriously, we've had one instance. I genuinely think there needs to be, like, a lot of breathing room. There needs to be, like, 3 to 4 hours of gameplay to just pace out and elaborate on and conclude and deal with all these little things that are flying around at 1,000,000 miles an hour right now. But we get one instance, and I understand, like, I guess, you know, they don't have the time to, they can't make Path of Fire that big or whatever. I understand that they have their constraints, so they have to do it here. So what the devs, I think, quite cleverly do is, before you're allowed to stop and think about any, it's a bit like what Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof did in the later years of Lost. Before you're allowed to stop and acknowledge and really sit down with what happened here, boom, let's do the most exciting thing possible and go to the mist and speak to the gods. Yeah, that's cool, let's do that. So, like, that's a different story straight away there, but they've thrown that at us. You know, we're going 100,000 miles now, and they've just slammed us another thing just to make sure we truly rocket now away from all of this as well. Which is good for in the moment, I think, because it's like, wow, look at all the things that are happening and blah, blah, blah. But I think actually in retrospect, looking back at it, this might be one of the reasons why I find myself still a little bit less seated with the Path of Fire story, because it is just going so quick, so fast, you know. But yeah, this last bit with Casimir, I really think they just need so much more breathing room. Let's, and here's the breathing room. Optional dialogue, so here we go.
Portal to the mist, huh? I've seen enough of that place to last a lifetime. But, well, it's like I said, Commander. I'm gonna make this right. No way you're going without me.
Costage, I think I know what you're talking about there. So Costage in chat says, some lore folks mention that it's referred somewhere that Abaddon's power equaled 2 gods, but I've yet to be able to find that info on Guild Wars 1 wiki yet. I believe where that's coming from is one of the outpost descriptions in the Desolation, maybe, or one of the potentially non-canon data mined things from Guild Wars 1. Talk specifically about Abaddon, like, taking out Lissa and someone else or something, and that he defended himself against 2 of them. It's something like that. It's not like it writes somewhere, he is as strong as 2 gods. It's that there was some kind of conflict, if I remember rightly, that establishes 2 gods were involved, and Abaddon was fine. And so then later we hear that he was finally wrestled to the realm of torment by all 5 of them at once. It was something like that. It's one of those. So, yeah, we finally get to speak to Ritlock, but it's about him in the mists, which... And not about his old trip in the mists and his conversation with Glint and stuff. They don't let us do that. They don't let us talk to him about Big Snaff. They don't let us talk to him a bit more about the spear. They don't let us talk to him about the information that Glint may have given us. They certainly don't let us talk to him about Sohothin, and that's fine, by the way, that last one. There's no way that this should be... Yes, it's a mystery, but just pretend it doesn't exist for Path of Fire. For God's sake, just pretend it doesn't exist. Oh, but wait, they tied that into the Balthazar thing, didn't they? So great. But, well, no, not really. How he got it is a mystery that remains. So, anyway, yeah, Kanak.
Portals to other worlds, ghostly dragons, rampaging gods. We lead charmed lives, do we not?
He's fine. You know, breathing room.
So many prayers unanswered. Do you think they will listen to us?
And Casimir's alright as well. I legitimately think the game could have gained a lot if it was structured more like a BioWare game or an old CRPG than the way it delivers story. I mean, they got their work cut out for them in Guild Wars, definitely. I have extreme admiration for the people who work on this, because it's hard. It's really hard. It would have been much easier when launch happened to have made this a mechanics-focused game rather than a story-focused game. Making a story-focused MMO is throwing good money off the bat, it feels like to me. It's just so hard to get right. Just work on build craft and end game content for people, and So essentially the difference between Guild Wars and PoE, right, in the way that they structure their end games. It would have been so much easier for the devs to have done that and keep people playing through those kinds of systems rather than intrigue about a plot that's increasingly convoluted and tied into tons of different formats like books and games and bonus mission packs and shit over years and years and years, and random stray out of world in-game audio, bugged audio that no longer exists, content that no longer exists, content that's yet to be released, split across multiple different teams, some of them working on living world patches, some of them working on expansions. It's just like, it's bonkers. And it's impressive to see anybody try it. Yeah, and Path of Fire is extremely impressive. It's everything Path of Fire is especially from what it goes into. It's definitely I think it's better than everything they've ever done before. I really do. Except Guild Wars 1, where the comparisons are very difficult and different to talk about. But for Guild Wars 2's sake, come on. This is clearly way better than Heart of Thorns, which was clearly way better than any Living World season, which is clearly way better than Season 1, which is clearly way better than Core. So, yeah, we're at the height, you know, quality-wise we are. It's just they got, like, this huge... And it's not all like this. It's not all so constipated. We're not all in this, you know, ring here. Sometimes, for POF... we get to relax a lot more, and I think that's very important. And they're not so congested. They're not doing so much all at once. But, so yeah, next time, guys, we will be going to the Mist. We'll be continuing on with Hallowed Ground. There won't be so much chance to read Edge of Destiny for that. But that's going to be the stream for today. Thanks very much for watching, guys. If anyone's got any questions or comments for me, let me have it right here, right now. Because I got videos to make. There was another Guild Wars 1 update. There were Forum AFC updates. There was... oh, and a Let's Play video I got to make. So there's a lot I got to do, really. Do you think the next expansion can keep the standard up? I actually do. And I'm really excited about the next expansion, too. Because there's a chance, if it's really far away, that we get, like, a nice reset. One of the reasons Nightfall was so good in Guild Wars 1 is because it was allowed to reset. And it hooked its stories in later, but it got that nice reset. And I think that if we go back to Cantha or the Blood Legion Homelands or whatever, I think that will be really powerful for Guild Wars 2. And we kind of get it here with POF, obviously, but there's so much... well, I don't know. It didn't really feel like much of a reset in POF for all the reasons that it should for Cantha, so maybe not. What am I having for dinner? I've got no idea. I don't know what I'm having for dinner. Something. Fruit, maybe. How's the state of the game video going? Right now it's on the back burner because I just got all this other stuff I want to do. It's been quite a news heavy at the moment. Yeah, Nightfall did in a weird way retcon the fortune teller stuff, I would agree. Faux Fire is a ritual of divine origin which repels dragon minions. Wait, where are you hearing that from? What? Interesting is that Kralkatorrik couldn't brand Ascalonian ghosts, and in Season 2 we learned that Magdea, which cast the Faux Fire, were gifts from the gods. Oh, I see the connection. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, and we've heard that divine magic repels dragon minions, as we saw in Season 2. Very clearly. Is there any subject material you don't want ArenaNet to use soon? Dude, really awesome question. I'm sure I've got an answer to that. I just can't think of it right now. Subject material I don't want them to use. I'm sure I've got so many different answers. I've got answers about preserving mystery. I've got answers to do with scope. I've got answers just because of things that annoy me. Like, I could imagine saying... so I'm not going to say this because I don't actually feel it right now. But I could easily imagine an answer to that question being Sylvari. You might just... oh, here's one. I got an answer. Inquest stuff. I don't think that we need to deal with the Inquest again for a while. Because I think we've had a real overabundance of Inquest. And every time they give us Inquest, they don't go... we're not getting any deeper into it, so it's just not... I'm not enthusiastic about the Inquest right now at all. And I find their relevance and capacity around Tyria at all times, everywhere, is really straining credulity right now. So next time I see Inquest, I really want them to rein it in a bit and explain how the Inquest feel like they're spread out so much despite, you know, us thwarting and slaughtering them so often and whatnot. Inquest I'm a bit tired of. But, you know, they've just introduced 2 new Asura characters and a bug in the system. And they had associations with Inquest, right? So maybe we're getting a lot more Inquest still. Yeah, that's Stardew Valley in the background. Do I think we will kill Joko? I don't know, maybe. I don't think we need to kill Joko to tell a good story. I'm more interested, much more interested in when we will kill/usurp Krauk. Because in theory, the devs don't want us to kill Kraukatoric because they've established quite clearly that should be the end of the world. And if they do it and it's still not the end of the world, we're not going to take that threat seriously. So they probably don't want us to take out another Elder Dragon until we can replace it. But if we do that, then they have to concoct a reason why the replacement isn't just snowballing us to victory with every conflict forevermore further forward. So either they're going to delay it as long as possible, or they're working very hard to figure out how to get our allied Elder Dragon friend out of the picture, right? Do you get what I mean? So I wonder when that will happen. Will it be season 3? Will it be next expansion? What will it be? The theory is Kraukatoric for Aurene, yeah. Once we have our fix for the replacement problem, do you think the game will fall back into Monster of the Week type of dragon slaying? Great question. No, hold on. What do you mean there, though? Do you mean Monster of the Week, to me, is what Core Story did, where it was like, you do an instance, and it's a random guy that they act like is an important guy, and you kill him, and it's not really a real fight, and then immediately again, it's another random guy that they act like is an important guy, but there's no substance there and no difficulty there, and you kill him, and then there's a third one. That's Monster of the Week, Monster of the Instance. I don't know whether you can really have Monster of the Week with the Elder Dragons, because there is substance to them. There is a lot that's been said. Even the Deep Sea Dragon, his substance is that there's little information. So, like, I don't know whether they could ever be Monster of the Week. But if you're talking, if you use the word Monster of the Week to describe that kind of predictable routine, it felt like where we were in, where it was like, this expansion is this dragon, then this expansion is this dragon, then this expansion. If you're asking about that, if you're saying, okay, once we get the replacements, are we just going to fall into that again? I would say there's a chance, and I wouldn't like to see that. Question is, what if Aurene goes hungry for magic at some point too? Great question. That's what I was trying to drive at before. Yeah, exactly. We know the Elder Dragons weren't always dragons, so we don't really know what species they are or where or whatever. But yeah, the point is, it can't be a coincidence. They're all massive twats and uncaring twats. So who's to say Aurene won't also? You're saying, oh, because she's empathetic. But hold on. Aurene is of Glint, and Glint is of Kraukatoric, same species. Like, the reasoning goes that had Logan not left and the plan succeeded and Glint became the new Kraukatoric, who's to say, if that happened in the year 1320, who's to say that now, in 1330, Glint wouldn't be rampaging around the skies right now just as devastating as Kraukatoric was? Who's to say that in those 10 years, she wouldn't have gone effing loco? Just as Aurene might, just as Shiny might, just as the Pale Tree might, just as whatever might. Do you get what I mean? And that's the territory that Guild Wars goes in after that. I mean, when we get too long down the road, the whole discussion becomes really interesting and undermined by just the plausibility of developing an MMO story continuously and franchise decisions and stuff, and then we kind of get off track. Vlast was a beta test. Wow. Wow. It's tricky from a writer's perspective. How can you handle avoiding that kill dragon every expansion situation while driving the plot forward? I think they avoided that perfectly with POF. I do. And actually, no, I'll credit them even further than that. I think since Season 3 they did that. Because in Season 3, they kind of gave us a conflict with 2 Elder Dragons, narratively, and resolved it right there in freaking Living World. And then no real Elder Dragon resolution at all in an expansion. If anything, we accelerated the problem in the expansion itself. Path of Fire itself did nothing to curb the dragons. It only emphasized the dragons and fueled them. So, you know, they really broke that trope. Season 3 and Path of Fire broke that trope. And so when we only have a handful of seasons and expansions to play with. So when 2 of them are already quite heavily defying convention, is there a convention at all? So I think they're doing all right for now. We might have just met 2 new Asura, but there's also the Char we met, Botica. Yeah, there's, I mean, that's another side of the whole thing, which I don't really find myself that entertained by. But if you listen to the way that the writers talk and the way that they handle the franchise, they don't strike me as interested in what we've just done 2 hours stream. Pretty much everything we talked about here, it doesn't strike me the devs are as interested in this side of lore and world building and storytelling. If you look at the way that they talk about development of the franchise and so on, it strikes me the writers are more enthusiastic about characters and writing compelling characters and having us care about individuals and follow smaller scale stories. And I think it's obvious why they made that decision, because if they can do that, it's not so much like there doesn't have to be an end point. It's not this weird, like, continuously power creeping on itself power fantasy stuff. It's not like... And I think soap opera style, you can get more emotion out of your audience and whatnot. So I kind of get pragmatically why the devs might be more enthusiastic about that side of things. But the truth is, and I've always been very blunt about this, I don't really care that much about the characters. I did that episode of the LP. I didn't care about Sierra, and I especially didn't care when I realized she was copy-pasted with Forgor and Tibble. I don't care about Timey or her degenerative disease. I don't care. I mean, I kind of like these Asura characters a little bit. I kind of like Kanak, but at the end of the day, that's not what fascinates me about Guild Wars. What I like about Guild Wars is what we just spent 2 hours discussing. And so yeah, you know, there's that whole other side of things there where it's like, okay, well, they've introduced 2 Asura and Botica. Let's instead talk about them for 2 hours. Let's talk about Botica and what she might bring to the table. But I just sort of don't care, and I don't really have much energy for thinking about where that will go myself. I'm not saying that they're wrong to do that, or players who like that stuff are wrong. It's just, you know, there's a reason why Guild Wars 2 Mysteries deals with the Wizard's Tower, and it doesn't deal with, oh, how would we cure Timey? There's a reason for that. It's because I don't really care about the personal side of stuff. Different strokes for different folks, maybe you might say. You might say it's a question of talent. I know in other games I care about the characters a lot more. BioWare style games and CRPGs and whatnot, I know I've cared about other characters more. So maybe it's just that Guild Wars, and maybe the devs can get me to a point where I care more about them. Because I'd like to care about it all equally, but time will tell, I guess. I think they set up the Char village as a place for rocks to call home. Yeah, like Benji just says that it's, you know, people hang up on Timey all the time. It's not about Timey to me. Rocks is a great example as well. Guys, a bug in the system might have created a place that Rocks has got a warband. Guys, Rocks, she's been looking for a warband for ages now. In Season 1, she was looking for a warband. How cool is that, guys? Like, everything I just said there is, I don't care about that at all. I could never imagine myself actually saying that. I mean, I might to an extent. I find it interesting, but to genuinely be passionate about Rocks getting a warband, it's not going to happen. I don't care. I'm genuinely passionate about, you know, finding the Malek's other tree, finding out what was going on with Ergos, finding out more about what Abaddon knew, finding out, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, it turns to ash. What I just said there. It's not real, really. I don't care that she's about to get a warband. It's not about Timey and having something out for, you know, the fact that she represents someone with a disability and you don't like that the game's doing that, which is what those discussions always get into. It's not about that. It's just on a personal level, I sort of don't connect that much. Yeah, sorry, Benji. Sorry, it was all a lie. I don't care. Like, what do I care about Ritlock? The mystery of how he got his sword. Do I care about how Ritlock feels? Not really. What do I want to see more Brimstone? Do I want to see more of the Stone Warband? Hell yeah, I do. Is that because I want to see like the people that shaped Ritlock and how he became who he is, like character-wise. And no, it's just because it's like, I don't know. I'm interested in the facts of his character, not the execution of his character. Is that a way of putting it? It's a bit cold, isn't it, really? But it's there it is. And there's a ton of examples like that out there. There's a ton of them. I don't mean to be disingenuous here. I think that the writers do cater to both audiences. Clearly, I wouldn't be as excited. This stream wouldn't have happened if Path of Fire didn't cater to both audiences. So they are striking people like me just as much as they need to be. To keep us entertained and enthusiastic. So I don't think it's 100%, oh, they don't care about this side of the game anymore. That's obviously not true. It's just I do think when you look at the way they talk about things, I do think the emphasis is on more character stuff. Anyway, we've probably laboured that point for a bit long now. Right, guys. Well, there you go. That's the stream for the day. We will continue with the Path of Fire lore and story playthrough tomorrow. So, if you don't usually come to my streams, if you enjoyed this, I'd be happy to have you. It's going to be the same time tomorrow. There's a button you can see on screen that says follow. If you click that, you'll get a notification when I next go live, in case you forget. And we'll have more of the same stuff. We always talk and waffle the same bollocks every day. So, well, not every day. Every day I stream. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much. If you feel I missed something important, by the way, I'm noticing here I got a donation from Heart of the Mists earlier. Thanks so much, dude. That's really nice of you. Thank you very much. If you guys felt I missed anything, let me know. To the guy talking about Patreon, I will be looking at that as soon as possible. We've got a lot of videos to make though. So cheers, everyone. Catch you next time.